You've been taught to go after what you want with everything you've got, to hustle harder, push more, and never give up. But what if I told you that this relentless obsession is the very thing pushing your dreams further away? Yeah, I know, it sounds completely backward. You think your desperation is showing how badly you want it, but in reality, it's broadcasting fear, not confidence. And people and life respond to that fear by backing off. Here's the harsh truth no one tells you. The more desperate you are, the more you repel the very things you crave. Success, love, opportunities. They don't respond well to frantic energy. They're drawn to calm, trust, and alignment. And the best part? Shifting out of this cycle doesn't require years of therapy or moving to a monastery. It's simpler than you think. And once you get it, everything changes fast. In this video, I'm going to show you why letting go isn't about giving up, but about becoming magnetic to what you desire most. If you're tired of feeling stuck, tired of forcing things that never seem to work, then keep watching. Because what you're about to learn might just be the missing piece you've been searching for all along. You've probably been told your whole life that the harder you try, the more you'll succeed. But here's the paradox no one tells you. Sometimes the more you push, the more life pushes back. It's like standing in a river, trying to hold onto the water with clenched fists. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. You end up exhausted, frustrated, and wondering why things aren't working out, despite all your effort. When you let go, though, something magical yet completely rational happens. Your energy shifts. You move from desperation to ease, from scarcity to trust. And guess what? Life responds to that change. Suddenly, opportunities flow to you, not because you chased them frantically, but because you created space for them to show up. It's like loosening your grip on that river and realizing you can float with it, rather than fight it. I've seen this play out countless times with clients who are job hunting. The ones who send out 50 resumes a day with panic rarely hear back. But the ones who pause, get clear on what they truly want, and then take aligned action, those are the ones who get the callbacks. Not because they tried less, but because they tried with the right energy. See the difference? It's important for you to realize that effort isn't bad. Misaligned effort is. It's not about being passive or lazy. It's about knowing when to push and when to pause. Like a musician, they know when to hit the notes and when to hold the silence. Both are essential to creating a beautiful melody. Trying to force every moment into action only creates noise, not music. So next time you find yourself clenching your jaw, working overtime, or obsessing over why something hasn't happened yet, pause. Ask yourself, am I forcing this or am I flowing with it? That simple question can change everything. It allows you to step back and reassess whether your energy is creating resistance or making space for possibilities. And this leads naturally to something even more profound, understanding why we feel the need to control everything in the first place. It's not just about effort. It's about what's driving that effort underneath, the fear, the doubt, the need to prove yourself. But let's explore that more deeply in a moment. You've probably noticed that most of your need to control things comes from fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of missing out, fear of failing, fear of losing what you love. It sneaks in quietly, disguising itself as being responsible or prepared. But let me tell you from experience, when fear is in the driver's seat, it doesn't matter how hard you press the gas. You're going in circles, not forward. Trust, on the other hand, is a completely different energy. When you trust life, you open yourself up. You relax your grip, not because you've given up, but because you know that you're whole with or without the specific outcome. It's like showing up for a date confident in who you are, instead of desperately hoping to be liked. Trust makes you magnetic. Fear makes you repellent. You don't have to look far to see this in action. Think about someone you know who's constantly worried about losing their partner. They micromanage, overtext, and stress about every little thing. Eventually, that anxiety suffocates the relationship. But those who trust, they give space for love to breathe. Relationships thrive in trust, not in fear's chokehold. Building trust doesn't mean you ignore risks or stop being thoughtful. It simply means you stop letting fear dictate every move. For example, if you want to start a business, trust doesn't mean you skip doing research. It means you don't let the fear of failure paralyze you. You still prepare, but you act from possibility, not from panic. The real kicker is that life responds to your trust. When you signal that you're okay, no matter what happens, opportunities unfold in ways you couldn't have planned. Trust tells life, "I'm ready to receive," while fear screams, "I'm not safe," and life listens. That's why learning to trust isn't just a feel-good idea. It's a practical strategy for living more freely. But of course, this all sounds great in theory, right? Let's make it real. How do you actually see this play out in the messiness of life? Well, that's where the most beautiful, unexpected moments come in. And I'll show you exactly how that happens. Let me tell you a little secret. Some of the most life-changing moments don't come from your careful planning. They just happen. Think about it. That friend you met randomly at a coffee shop, who later introduced you to your dream job, or that last-minute trip you almost canceled but ended up meeting the love of your life. These moments weren't forced. They found you because you were open. When you stop trying to control every detail, life has room to surprise you. It's like when you're at a networking event and you keep rehearsing the perfect pitch in your head, but then you casually chat with someone at the snack table and that conversation ends up being the real breakthrough. See? The magic isn't in the script. It's in the flow. I remember one client who was desperately trying to land a promotion. She was doing everything right. Extra hours, more meetings, endless follow-ups, but nothing budged. Eventually, she burned out and let go of her obsessive grip. Ironically, that's when a different opportunity popped up, even better than the one she was chasing. Not because she gave up, but because she finally created space for something else. Here's the thing. Life doesn't reward desperation. It rewards alignment. When you're aligned with what you truly want, without the pressure of forcing it, you naturally attract situations and people that resonate with you. It's not some mystical law, it's just how human energy and interaction work. People feel when you're relaxed versus when you're anxious. So the next time you feel tempted to over-strategize your way into success, remember that some of the best things in life are stumbled upon, not manufactured. That doesn't mean you stop showing up. It means you show up with curiosity instead of desperation. Let life have its chance to meet you halfway. And speaking of life meeting you halfway, have you ever wondered why some paths close abruptly while others, seemingly out of nowhere, light up with ease? It might have something to do with a deeper intelligence at play. Let's dive into that. Here's something I wish someone had told me sooner. Life is operating on a level of intelligence far beyond what your mind can grasp. You may think you've got all the angles covered, every step planned out, but life often has a much better blueprint. It's like standing too close to a painting. You see the brushstrokes but miss the masterpiece. Stepping back gives you perspective, and trust me, that perspective changes everything. Clinging too tightly to one specific idea can blind you to opportunities that are even better. It's like insisting on driving down a blocked road when there's a wide-open highway just a turn away. I've seen people obsessed with one job offer or one relationship, missing the signs that life was redirecting them to something far more fulfilling. Your mind says, "This is the only way," but life whispers, "There's more." Let me give you an example. A friend of mine spent years trying to start a business in one specific industry, convinced it was his calling. Every door kept shutting hard. Frustrated, he finally stepped back and reevaluated. Turns out, his real passion was adjacent but not identical. He pivoted, and within months, he built a thriving business that felt effortless. Those setbacks weren't failures. They were life's way of steering him right. You've probably experienced this too. Something that felt like a loss but later revealed itself as a blessing. Maybe a relationship ended and at the time it crushed you. But months later, you realized that ending made space for new growth or a new love. That's life's deeper intelligence in action. It sees what you can't and it's always working for you even when it doesn't feel that way. The key is learning to interpret setbacks not as punishments, but as setups. Every closed door is a signpost pointing somewhere else. Instead of spiraling into frustration, ask yourself, what is life redirecting me toward? That question alone can transform your perspective from victimhood to empowerment. And once you begin seeing life as an ally instead of an obstacle, something else begins to shift within you. You start moving from a place of force to a state of flow, and that changes everything. Let me be clear, letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means stepping aside and allowing life to work through you, rather than you trying to bulldoze your way through life. There's a huge difference between the two. Forcing things is exhausting. It drains your energy and often leads to frustration. But moving in flow, that feels light, aligned, and, quite frankly, a lot more enjoyable. Think about professional athletes. The ones who perform best aren't the ones who overthink every move. They're the ones who've trained, prepared, and then surrendered to the game. They trust their instincts and let their body take over. Force makes you tense. Flow makes you agile. That same principle applies to your relationships, your career, your goals, everything. When you stop forcing outcomes, you open the door to alignment. Life responds to alignment much more favorably than it does to sheer effort. For example, forcing a conversation with someone to like you will likely push them away, but being relaxed and authentic draws them in naturally. Flow isn't passive. It's just deeply aware and responsive. Trust is the foundation that allows you to live in flow. When you trust that things will unfold as they should, you stop micromanaging every detail and start enjoying the process. It's like dancing. You can't control every step. You have to feel the rhythm and let it move you. And ironically, that's when you look the most graceful. Moving from force to flow isn't a one-time decision. It's a practice. It requires self-awareness to notice when you're gripping too tightly and the courage to loosen your hold. You can start simple. Next time you face a challenge, instead of asking, "How do I force this to happen?" try asking, "How can I align with what's already happening?" As you begin to make that shift, you'll notice something fascinating. Your energy changes. And when your energy changes, everything else does too. How you speak, how you act, the decisions you make. All of it starts coming from a place of trust rather than fear. Let's explore that next. From the moment you were a kid, you were taught, sometimes subtly, sometimes loudly, to trust fear more than possibilities. Be careful. Don't take risks. What if it doesn't work out? These messages sink in deep and shape how you approach life. Before you even realize it, you're conditioned to believe that control equals safety, and that letting go is dangerous. But I'm here to tell you that belief is not only outdated, it's limiting. The truth is, real safety isn't in controlling everything. It's in learning how to ride life's waves. Picture a surfer. They don't try to control the ocean, that would be absurd. Instead, they learn how to adapt, how to move with the swell, how to keep their balance when things get chaotic. That's trust in action. They know the ocean is unpredictable, yet they go out there anyway because they've built the skills and the mindset to handle whatever comes. You've been taught to armor up against life's uncertainty. But what if that armor is actually what's making you rigid and stuck? Let me give you something practical here. Instead of defaulting to worst-case scenarios, try this. When faced with a decision, ask yourself, what's the best that could happen? Shifting from fear to possibility is a muscle you can build, one small choice at a time. Trust doesn't mean ignoring risks. It means not being paralyzed by them. For example, if you've been thinking about changing careers, fear will scream, "What if you fail?" But trust quietly asks, "What if this is exactly what you need to grow?" It doesn't erase the uncertainty, but it changes your relationship with it. You become someone who's adaptable, not someone who's held hostage by circumstances. Here's the beautiful part. When you start trusting life more, you become resilient. You stop seeing chaos as something that ruins you and start seeing it as something that refines you. The same way fire tempers steel, challenges shape your strength. This is how you stop being a victim of life's unpredictability and start becoming a co-creator of your experience. And as your trust deepens, something subtle yet powerful starts to shift in you. Your energy changes. The way you speak, the way you move, the way you make decisions. It all starts to exude a kind of magnetic confidence. Let's take a closer look at how that plays out in your daily life. When you start trusting life, everything about you shifts, your tone, your posture, your decisions. People can feel it, even if they can't quite explain it. You walk into a room, and without saying a word, your presence communicates confidence and ease. That's the power of trust. You're no longer driven by a frantic need to prove yourself, but by a grounded sense that you belong, no matter what. Think about someone you admire, maybe a leader, a speaker, or even a friend. What draws you to them? It's rarely their perfection. It's their relaxed confidence, their ability to stay calm and centered, even in uncertainty. That's what makes someone magnetic. Desperation repels, but trust attracts. It's not about faking confidence. It's about cultivating a deep, authentic trust in yourself and in life. One practical way to shift your energy is to become aware of how you speak about your goals. Are you saying, "I hope this works out," or "I trust that I'm moving in the right direction"? That small linguistic shift reinforces a new mindset. Start listening to yourself. The language you use reflects and shapes your energy. Want to be magnetic? Speak from trust, not from fear. Your actions change too. When you trust, you make decisions based on alignment, not anxiety. You take risks that feel right, not just the ones that feel safe. For example, you might finally send that proposal, make that phone call, or book that trip, not because you're sure of the outcome, but because you trust yourself to handle whatever comes next. And here's the kicker. Life mirrors your inner state. When you show up grounded and trusting, opportunities seem to coincidentally appear. But it's not really coincidence, it's alignment. Fear sends out a signal of resistance. Trust sends out a signal of openness. People, experiences, and possibilities are naturally drawn to that openness. Now, you might be wondering, but what about time? I've been trusting. I've been patient. Why hasn't it happened yet? That's where so many people get tripped up by the illusion that speed equals success. Let's unpack that next. One of the hardest things for you to accept might be this: speed doesn't equal success. We live in a world obsessed with instant results. Next day delivery, viral fame overnight, quick fixes for everything. But real, meaningful outcomes unfold in their own time, not according to your schedule. Forcing a timeline often backfires, creating unnecessary stress and rushed decisions that crumble under pressure. Think about baking a cake. If you yank it out of the oven too early because you're impatient, it collapses. But when you trust the process and give it the time it needs, it rises beautifully. Your goals work the same way. Trust allows the right things to arrive when they're truly ready, not when you feel desperate to have them. That kind of patience isn't passive, it's deeply intentional. Let me give you an example. A client of mine was eager to move abroad for a new job. She kept forcing applications, setting strict deadlines, and getting frustrated when things didn't happen fast enough. But when she paused, realigned, and let go of the urgency, the perfect opportunity landed in her lap months later. One that wouldn't have been available on her rushed timeline. The universe had a better plan. She just needed to get out of the way. The irony is, when you stop obsessing over when something will happen, you make space for it to happen more naturally. Forced outcomes tend to break. They're brittle, built on pressure rather than strength. Trusted processes, however, build stronger foundations. They evolve with you, adapting to new insights and circumstances along the way. So next time you catch yourself thinking, "Why isn't this happening yet?" Pause. Instead of spiraling into frustration, remind yourself, everything is unfolding exactly as it should. That mindset doesn't just make you feel better. It makes you more effective, more creative, and more resilient. You stop chasing life and start collaborating with it. And now that we've explored how letting go of timelines changes everything, let's bring all these ideas together. Because here's the truth. Your desperation isn't just unhelpful. It's actively repelling what you want. But there's a better way to approach all of this, and that's exactly what we're about to dive into. So now, the real question is, are you ready to stop chasing and start attracting? Are you willing to shift from desperation to trust, from forcing outcomes to flowing with life? Because once you do, everything starts to change. But here's the thing, knowing this isn't enough. You've got to live it, practice it, embody it every single day. What would your life look like if you finally stopped obsessing and allowed the right things to come to you? Imagine the peace, the confidence, the freedom of knowing that you don't have to beg for what's already meant for you. Doesn't that sound like the kind of life you deserve? Well, it's not just a dream, it's entirely possible. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to take action right now. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on powerful insights like this. This is just the beginning of your journey toward a more aligned, effortless, and fulfilling life. And before you go, make sure to watch this next video right here. It dives even deeper into how to master your energy and truly become magnetic to everything you desire. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. See you there.